You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 most important moments in movie history.
I am Oz, the great and powerful. Who are you?
This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight. Not as clumsy or random as a blaster. An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
For this list, we'll be looking at specific movie moments in addition to more general milestones in the history of the medium. So, what do you think is the most important moment in the history of cinema? Let us know in the comments. All right, let's get to it. Number 10, Dodging Bullets, The Matrix. One of the most influential action movies ever made, The Matrix was released to surprising success in 1999. Many of its scenes and quotes became cultural icons, including the famous sequence in which Neo dodges the agent's bullets. This is perhaps the most famous example of bullet time, a filmmaking technique that sees the camera moving at normal speed while the action occurs in slow motion. The sequence proved instantly iconic, and suddenly every action movie and video game was employing the technique. Bullet time was heavily utilized throughout the 2001 game Max Payne, while films like Charlie's Angels and Wanted featured Matrix-esque filmmaking. The use of bullet time was also extensively parodied, having been mocked in the likes of Scary Movie and Shrek. Number 9. Computer animation. Toy Story. The animation genre was never the same after 1995. Made by a little company called Pixar, Toy Story razzled and dazzled critics with its groundbreaking computer animation.
A stranger from the outside.
It not only gave the movie a unique look in a time of hand-drawn animation, it also allowed the camera to perform incredible feats that were otherwise impossible to convey in animation. The result was a gorgeous and incredibly unique film that contained elements of legitimately brilliant filmmaking.
All right, that's enough. Look, we're all very impressed with Andy's new toy.
Toy?
T-O-Y, toy.
Excuse me, I think the word you're searching for is Space Ranger.
The technology used for the film was sought by video game developers and robotics engineers. But most important of all, it served as a landmark moment in movie history. More and more companies began employing computer animation, including Disney with 2005's Chicken Little.
Chicken Little! What is it? What's going on?
The sky is falling! The sky is falling!
Number 8. Gollum, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. The creation of Gollum was quite a difficult process. The creature himself is computer-generated, with Andy Serkis providing the voice and motion capture.
Master should be resting. Master needs to keep up his strength.
Who are you?
Mustn't ask us, not its business.
However, Serkis was also physically present during filming to aid the other actors in their performances. He physically performed alongside the human actors, resulting in the CGI Gollum being rotoscoped over Serkis in post-production. Gollum's facial movements were manually animated, with each individual frame taking 4 hours to render.
Master looks after us now. We don't need you. What? Leave now and never come back.
This method of visual effects filmmaking was widely adopted following the release of The Two Towers, with Serkis himself becoming the go-to motion capture actor in Hollywood. He has since starred as King Kong, Caesar, Supreme Leader Snoke, and Baloo, among others.
I saw what all masters live to see. Raw, untamed power. And beyond that, something truly special.
Number 7. The first female director, The Merchant of Venice. Lois Weber is one of the most influential film directors of all time. In 1914, Weber became the first American female to direct a feature-length movie, co-directing a film adaptation of The Merchant of Venice alongside her husband, Philip Smalley. Unfortunately, the film has since been lost. But that isn't the only thing Weber is known for.
Weber worked on every stage of her films. She wrote the scripts. She acted in her productions. She directed, and she usually sat in the editing room.
Film historian Anthony Slide has called her, quote, American cinema's first genuine auteur, and she's credited with pioneering the split-screen technique, which first appeared in her short 1913 film Suspense. Weber subsequently worked for Universal, becoming their highest-paid director at $5,000 a week, or about $120,000 in today's money. And in 1917, she started Lois Weber Productions, becoming the first female to own a film studio. Number 6. The first summer blockbuster, Jaws. Universal was quite confident in Jaws and launched a massive marketing campaign to promote it. They also made the unthinkable decision to give it a wide release. At the time, popular movies premiered in big cities across the country before going wide, and wide releases were relegated to bad movies that needed to generate as much money as possible before negative word of mouth got around.
But it's not gonna be pleasant. I value my neck a lot more than $3,000, Chief. I'll find him for 3, but I'll catch him and kill him for 10.
It was also rare to release a big blockbuster in the summer, which had long been regarded as a dumping ground for hopeless movies. After all, people didn't want to spend gorgeous summer days inside a dark movie theater. Jaws proved otherwise. It quickly became the highest-grossing film of all time, and the concept of the summer blockbuster was born.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Number 5. The Shower Murder, Psycho. Perhaps the most famous scene in movie history, Psycho's shower murder has become an iconic piece of popular culture and has remained so for 60 years. The scene was incredibly risky, as Janet Leigh was the biggest name in the cast and was extensively featured in the movie's marketing. Her quick murder shocked audiences and subverted preconceived plot expectations, helping aid in Hitchcock's reputation as a master storyteller, even though the story was adapted from Robert Bloch's novel. It was so shocking that Hitchcock requested theaters implement a no late admission policy so late audience goers wouldn't feel cheated by the absence of Leigh. The scene's violence was also unprecedented, proving controversial with censors and setting a new bar for violence acceptability in mainstream film. Number 4. Special Effects and Technicolor, The Wizard of Oz.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
We wish we had a time machine. Going back and watching audience reactions to this film would be truly special. The Wizard of Oz was instantly hailed for its groundbreaking special effects, most of which can still be admired today. Of particular note is Jack Dawn's revolutionary use of foam latex for the Cowardly Lion and Scarecrow masks. But perhaps more importantly, the movie was noted for its revolutionary use of Technicolor. The film famously changes to color after Dorothy arrives in Oz, and while it wasn't the first movie to employ the technology, that would be The Gulf Between in 1917, it obviously proved the most popular. Visual effects history can be split into 2 distinct eras, pre- and post-Wizard of Oz.
No, I know we're not in Kansas.
Number 3. Cell Animation and Disney, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Hi-ho, it's home from work we go.
No one had faith in Walt Disney. His brother and business partner tried dissuading him from making Snow White. He was widely derided within the film industry, and no one wanted to produce the movie. Most of the hesitation stemmed from the time commitment and budget, a staggering $1.5 million, or about $27 million in 2021. It's not much today, but at the time, it was unheard of.
Oh, how silly of me. I'm Snow White.
Snow White, the princess?
Yes.
Disney eventually had to mortgage his house to finance the movie, but the stress was well worth it. Snow White not only proved the first full-length animated feature, but it also helped finance Walt Disney Studios, which purchased its still-operating Burbank studio with the movie's profits. With Snow White, the Disney formula was both born and perfected.
A wishing apple?
Yes. One bite, and all your dreams will come true.
Number 2. The first sci-fi, A Trip to the Moon. Directed by Georges Méliès, A Trip to the Moon is often regarded as the earliest example of sci-fi in film. It's largely inspired by the work of Jules Verne, specifically From the Earth to the Moon and Around the Moon. Running anywhere between 9 and 18 minutes depending on the frame rate, the story concerns a group of astronauts who travel to the moon and escape from aliens known as Selenites. The film became internationally renowned for its groundbreaking special effects and inventive narrative. It not only served as a massively influential piece of science fiction, it also helped popularize the very concept of narrative in film. The movie remains an exceptional piece of entertainment today. We can only imagine the experience in 1902. While computer animation, special effects, and sci-fi are all hugely important to the history of cinema, there's one change without which movies would be entirely different today. Think you know what it is? Let's look through some honorable mentions, and then we'll name the top most important moment in movie history. Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. One of cinema's most popular franchises was born.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take it away!
Beauty and the Beast. The first animated movie to be nominated for Best Picture.
Why did you come here?
I'm sorry.
I warned you never to come here!
I didn't mean any harm.
Do you realize what you could have done?
The arrival of a train at La Ciotat Station pioneered various cinematic techniques, including forced perspective. Parasite. The first non-English film to win Best Picture.
나름 운치가 있네. 정원에는 비가 촤. 우린 위스키를 촤.
King Kong. The Empire State Building climax is iconic, complete with groundbreaking stop motion. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The first feature-length sound film, The Jazz Singer. This wasn't the first movie to contain sound. Many earlier films contained spoken dialogue and instrumental scores, and 1921's Dream Street even contained a singing sequence.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been asked to say a few words concerning the play of Dream Street, which you are about to see.
However, The Jazz Singer was the first feature-length movie to utilize sound, running 89 minutes. It also combined all types of sound design into one production, featuring a combination of instrumental score, spoken dialogue, and singing sequences.
Wonderful pals are always hard to find. Some folks have one.
While the movie only contains about 2 minutes worth of spoken dialogue, it heralded the end of the silent film era.
Every studio is jumping on the bandwagon, Dexter. All the theaters are putting in sound equipment. We don't want to be left out of it.
We don't know anything about this gadget.
What do you have to know? It's a picture. You do what you always did. You just add talking to it.
The transition wasn't immediate, but The Jazz Singer opened the floodgates for future sound films and talkies, and movies were never the same.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
you ain't heard nothing.
So, what movie milestone is most important to you? Did you know that Psycho is also the first movie with a toilet in it? Let us know your movie fun facts in the comments below, or come tell me on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton, or on my YouTube channel. See ya!